Clint Eastwood is best known for his westerns and directorial efforts, but just as many people likely know him from his role as Harry Callahan in the Dirty Harry franchise. The first film famously saw him tracking down a serial killer known as Scorpio, based on the Zodiac Killer. Each sequel had him involved in violent policing that he felt was necessary to stop crime. There were 5 Dirty Harry movies in all, from 1971 to 1988. The films had different themes, with the second about vigilante justice and renegade cops, and the last, The Dead Pool, about a serial killer with a list of victims. However, there was supposed to be a 6th Dirty Harry, and curiously, it was similar to what Eastwood did later in Unforgiven. Unmade Dirty Harry sequel would have pit Clint Eastwood against corrupt police. In 2023, author Mark Edlitz wrote a book titled Movies Go Forth, Fourth Films in Fantastic Franchises, which looked at the fourth movies in several beloved franchises. Included in the book was a discussion of Sudden Impact, the 4th Dirty Harry movie. In the breakdown, Sudden Impact screenwriter Joseph Stinson broke down an unmade 6th movie. Stinson said he penned the script in the early 90s for the movie with Bronco Billy screenwriter Dennis Hacking. The film was a fresh idea, but it borrowed heavily from the second movie in the series, Magnum Force. In that film, vigilante traffic cops were executing criminals so they wouldn't have to deal with the court system. This is where Harry had to fight corrupt cops and where he delivered the perfect Dirty Harry quote, "A man's got to know his limitations." According to Stinson, the 6th movie would have pit Dirty Harry against the police force that he had dedicated his life to. However, this time around, it was Harry who was to be targeted for his violent ways. The script involves Harry trying to stop a killer with ties to powerful bureaucrats in the San Francisco Police Department. Stinson compared it to Serpico, where the police department turns on Harry when he gets too close to the truth. This time, the police see Harry as a man who is no different than the criminals he has brought down. Dirty Harry sequel has a similar plot to Unforgiven. It is similar in many ways to Unforgiven, which Clint Eastwood made in 1992 instead of the Dirty Harry sequel. In that movie, Eastwood played William Money, an aging outlaw who doesn't really have time for nonsense anymore and is quickly finding himself a relic of the past. However, he finds himself pulled back into the action. In the unmade Dirty Harry sequel, Harry's partner warns him that all the years he spent on the force are causing him to see ghosts where there are none. However, Harry ends up right, and the sequel was going to focus on the distrust America has in its police. It is similar to the corrupted Little Bill in Unforgiven. Unforgiven was a revisionist western and changed a lot of what people thought of when watching the genre. The sheriff in the movie was the bad guy, and the outlaw was the hero. This was something Clint Eastwood has always strived for in his films. He wanted nothing to do with white-hat cowboys who were pureblood good guys. This is how he played Dirty Harry. Harry was willing to kill a criminal just to make sure they didn't slip through the justice system. While people still call out the first movie as glorifying police brutality, the sequels gave a little more of a nuanced look at it, showing the different levels of corruption in the police departments. The 6th movie would have been released in an era with the Rodney King beating and the Rampart scandal. It was similar to Copland, which came out a few years later, about police corruption. Like Unforgiven, it would have Eastwood playing an older gunfighter who was seeing the world change for the worse in front of his eyes. Why didn't Clint Eastwood make this last Dirty Harry movie? Sudden Impact was the most successful Dirty Harry movie, making it seem like there would be plenty more in the franchise. However, after The Dead Pool disappointed at the box office, it ended the franchise, even though a 6th movie was planned. While Joseph Stinson had big ideas for his Dirty Harry sequel, Clint Eastwood wasn't ready for it yet. According to Stinson, Eastwood was happy with the script and thought it was a good idea. However, he put it on pause, reportedly saying, "We will do this when the time is right." However, after making Unforgiven, Eastwood's career changed, and he started working on more drama movies, moving away from action-based films. It was also harder for fans to accept Clint Eastwood as a tough-as-nails cop who could deal with people half his age. While it worked in Unforgiven, showing a former outlaw who was still quick with the gun, seeing him as a working police detective who faced overwhelming forces didn't quite have the same impact. It would have been an excellent ending for Dirty Harry, but it seemed the franchise had passed Clint Eastwood by. He ended up passing on the opportunities for these movies to other actors and directors, and other franchises, and the franchise ended with a whimper in The Dead Pool, rather than with a bang with this unmade Dirty Harry movie.